Okay, we've talked about being brave, bring about change, talked about a bit of your own stories. What do we need to change?
Well, changing in my sphere of the educational path is that we teach these children language and we share language with them, but when the children take it home to their parents, it's blah, blah, blah. And the parents are embarrassed they never learnt it at school. So what we're finding now is what language we teach, we need leaflets or pamphlets to go home with the children so they can share with the parents what they are. Because like Uncle Frank was saying, the kindy kids and the primary kids that I work with are now going home and teaching their siblings language and teaching their parents language. And so this is where, you know, like this is why yarning circles, the older people have hindsight. We need this to go home for the parents as well, because, you know, it's important for the parents to learn. But the other thing that I've noticed lately in my role as the co-chair of the Blackwood Reconciliation Group is it's not the school's right to teach Aboriginal kids about stolen generation. It's actually the parents' right to teach these kids. Because sometimes the schools teach about stolen gen, and the child might be second or third generation stolen child, goes home and talks about it with mum and dad. Well, mum and dad aren't dealing with it either. Or mum and dad it's very confronting to them. So our people need to teach our kids about stolen generation before a school inadvertently takes them to Colebrook or Stolen Generation site and teach about this. It's not their right. They're just crossing the line a little bit, and this is where, through reconciliation action plans at schools, once they get cultural awareness training, they know they shouldn't be doing this stuff. And this is why I love RAPs, because, you know, the Premier said a year ago that every government agency had to have a reconciliation action plan. So the flow-on effect is, for the education department, every school has to have one. So, you know, it's really great for the schools to embrace it and to learn about our culture and to teach it correctly. Like, I love listening to this one saying about truth-telling. That's right, TRT, we tell the truth. So long have students learnt Anglo-Aboriginal culture. They've learnt didgeridoo. Well, we say didgeridoo, it's a yidaki. Let's teach them the truth. And schools are finally embracing it. You know, and it's a really great time to be Aboriginal and be in schools and teach our culture at the moment, because they're immersing themselves with it, and students are loving it. You know, I don't see many kids these days that want to learn Indonesian or Chinese or Mandarin. They all want to learn Ghana, on Ghana country. And to hear them speak it, you know, when I walk into schools and hear kids keep coming up to me, Nina Mani, this is great. It's just humbling, but we've got to get them to answer it, because too many kids are asking us, are we good? But no one's answering each other. But it's baby steps. You've got to crawl before you can run.
Khyeesha, you're in a school. Mm-hmm. So what changes do you think young people need to make into the future?
Well, I think that it's great that you see a lot in the community and schools that they promote Reconciliation Week, but I think it also begins with actual actions being put into place. So it's great to see posters around and things like that, but I think for something to actually change, you actually need to put an action in place. It doesn't have to be small. It doesn't have to be big, sorry. It can be like a small push, because that can actually create a domino effect. But I think we just need to come as a group or a community to kind of put something in place rather than just saying it. I think something needs to be done.
Beautiful. Frank, what do you think needs to change?
Well, just basically people's attitude towards, you know, about Aboriginal people, and, you know, they still have that sort of mindset, or, you know, they're, you know, dirty and all these sort of negative sort of stereotypes. I think, yeah, sort of trying to, yeah, sort of break that cycle of negativity around, yeah, what people think about Aboriginal people and their culture.
What would you attempt to do to get that done? You do your tours, you do a lot of talking to people? Yeah,
well, it's education and just basically, you know, making them aware of, you know, the positive stuff that's sort of happening in our community, and because there's a lot of good people doing a lot of good things that, you know, that should be highlighted and more focused.
So in terms of your experience, Sasha, you worked as a social worker, you've worked doing your art. What, from your experiences, do you think needs to be changed?
I think lots needs to be changed, and I think it's really hard to hear that a lot needs to be changed. But I think it's really important, a part of that truth telling. You know, like you said, it starts from that bias and that stereotypes, and you know, that's really easy things to change through education and through talking and through a commitment to wanting to change and wanting to know better. Also, you were talking about some quotes. I really love the quote, sorry means that you don't do it again. And I think that is quite universal. I think it can be transferred to this as well. So once you know more, how do you not do more harm? I also think that young people and children and kids are the most influential group of people that you could ever talk to. I think our children are our future, absolutely, and they will make change for the next generations to come. Because I think they don't come. We live in a world now that, you know, we are able to address bias and stereotypes and learn new ways, and, you know, kids are taking that on. So I think that's really, really important. I guess for me, though, the biggest part is not keeping it just in Reconciliation Week. I think it's really important. It's great that we've got so many initiatives. Yeah, we've got so much, you know, great people out there, like you said, in community and in schools, and doing art, and, you know, doing so much community events and networking and working amazing jobs. You know, we have so much strength in our culture. So how do we make sure that that moves past Reconciliation Week, 1 week, into every day? You know, I want to encourage, you know, the Aboriginal kids that are at school and the Torres Strait Islander kids that are at school, you know, keep going. You know, it's really hard. You might be facing racism, you might have stereotypes, you might have bias, you might have so much working against you, but, you know, this is your community, and this is what you know, the legacy that you'll be able to bring to it. And encourage non-Aboriginal kids as well to be able to, you are a part of this, you know, like we were all saying, change comes when we work together. It won't come with, you know, walking ahead or walking behind. It will only come when we're working together. So how do you be an ally? That's a really good question, I think, to ask yourselves. And we, as a panel, we don't have the answers for that, because that's really important that you look at yourself and look at your allyship, look at your bias, look at your stereotypes, look at how you were raised, look at the narratives that your school's giving you around Aboriginal people and Aboriginal culture. And if it's not good, then how do you change it? You know, we need people to be brave and make that change within themselves. We need schools to be brave and make that change within themselves. We have a wealth of knowledge and so many people that can support you on that journey. But ultimately, it's an individual and a school and a community opportunity to step up, really.